Welcome class to yet another video over nested loops. Now, to start off with, I have your very basic loop here. Just a for loop. It goes 60 times. Now, you may notice that at the start of this, I happen to have a character. And this character is just an exclamation point. Now, this character, what we're actually going to do with it is we're going to go through a for loop, and I'm going to print it off. And then I'm going to use the plus plus operator, which we've used in math, numbers. If I have an int number equals 0 and I say number plus plus, what is it? It's 1. And then I say plus plus again, it's 2. Plus plus again, it's 3. It increments it to the next number. Now, believe it or not, letters can actually do kind of the same thing. When I run this, let's go down here to the bottom here, take a look. It's going to run 60 times. And what you're going to see here is exclamation point. And then you'll see a bunch of other symbols, numbers, letters. What this is basically doing is going to the ASCII table here. Now, I started at exclamation point. And the ASCII table is basically the thing that holds all the characters and stuff you use. We go down, and what do we see? Parentheses, pound sign, dollar sign, percentage sign. We go back, take a quick look. What do we see? Apostrophe, pound sign, dollar sign, percentage, and so on, all the way to, letters and stuff. If I went farther with it, you would actually end up seeing lowercase letters. And then, poof, the end. At this point, you'll either get blanks or squares or even Japanese or Chinese symbols, depending on what's installed on your computer for the most part. But usually it'll be blanks for quite a while. But this is your ASCII table. You start a character and you increment it. And there you go. Now, the ASCII table itself, uh, this could actually be used to, let's say, cheaply encode a message, for example. If I were to just add 5 to every character in a word or something. Let's say I said Bob. Well, if I added 5, I go down 5. Uh, and oh, you know, go down 5. And it would say something else. Uh, Pass that message to the person, and if I tell them, what they have to subtract by, they subtract it by 5, and the message is simply decoded then. So you could, really simply encode something and decode it. Most people, at a glance, probably would not be able to tell what's going on. Any computer scientist who's dealt with ASCII tables and stuff can look at that and be like, oh, I know what that is. Because each ASCII item, ASCII value in your table is represented by kind of a number for the most part. You know, so if I can actually convert them to ints or back and forth, and that just represents the position in the table for the most part. Now, let's go back. Now I've used one for loop. I told you this was about nested loops, but we're gonna make the next round of this nested loops. Obviously, putting all this on one line is kind of tedious. Maybe I want to just see the ASCII table kind of as it is. So I'm going to come down here and have a version of this with nested loops to show you how that would look. I'm going to start off with a blank space. We're going to go, and I'm just going to uncomment everything you see here. Voila. Now, I'm starting at a blank space. And notice I've got 6. This will be the lines going down. 16 will be the numbers going across. So basically, this is going to be, 16 across times 6 going down. So it's going to be a lot larger than the one we made up here. If we take a quick look, what is a space? Oh, it's right here. The SP, you see there's space. So I should end up getting space, exclamation point, and we'll go all the way down pretty much to the end of this. So if I take a look at this and I run it, you'll see exactly that. I've got a space, exclamation, and then it's the same that you see up there, except I'm going a little bit farther with it. You see lowercase, tilde, and if we look at my ASCII table, lo and behold, what's the last thing in that ASCII table? Right there, which is pretty much where I stopped. So now I can do this because I have two for loops. The first for loop basically controls how many lines down I'm going to go. The second prints it going across. If you notice, this is system.print, not a system.print line. Print keeps it on one line as we go across. So we'll start 0, and this will start 0. I is 0, j is 0. We'll print the blank space, and then letter will increment, will come back up, and now j is 1. It's not 16, it's less than that, so it's going to go again. Then parentheses, or rather parentheses, quotes rather. And then we got this one, hashtag, $, and it's going to go all the way across 16 times, 0 to 15. And once it hits that last one, 16 is not less than 16, this inner loop fails to execute again. And then I have this, system.out.print line, and nothing's being printed really. But what a print line does is it moves me down one. Print keeps me on that same line. Print line is going to move me down. So what I'm using this basically to do is just press enter and move the cursor down to the next line. We'll come back up. I is 1. Then we're going to do this whole issue again. Letter already incremented to this point. So what's the next thing after that? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on, all the way to question mark. 15, 16, we stop. We go up again. 3, print across. 4, print across. 5, print across. 6, well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, rather. Wait a second. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we hit that 5th, we stop. Now, if I were to come up here and make that a 7, you would just see square symbols on my system. Depending on how your system's configured, you might see other stuff. But let's say 20. And now we get to see other things. As you can see, other parts of other ASCII tables kind of that are contained inside the computer system. I'm going to go ahead and just keep it the way it was. But if you want to tinker with it and play with it, you're more than welcome to. In fact, coding is all about tinkering and playing with stuff. Adjust the length by changing this, going across. Adjust the distance going down, the number of lines going down by doing that. Sorry, my mic turns off after it doesn't receive any sound for like 7 minutes or so. Now, as I was saying, play with it, and you will see pretty much how this works. The more you play with code, the more you learn. What happens when I change this? What happens when I change that? What happens if I come up here and start this at the $sign instead of the blank space? Things like that will let you know basically how things work a lot more than just watching somebody do it. And you should also be copying everything down and trying to do what you can to add more stuff to your, repertoire, your experience in programming. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the more you understand, the more things you can make on your own. All right, and that is a quick review over nested loops.